It's been brought to my attention that there seems to be some confusion relating to monthly listeners on Spotify and why for some artists that may not be showing correctly. So what I want to do is just explain the difference between main artists, featured artists, some of the limitations, and how you can potentially correct this to make sure that you're getting that number of monthly listeners that you deserve. So firstly, when a song is being distributed to Spotify, you're allowed to tag 5 main artists and 5 featured artists as well. If you add more than that number, you're going to see various artists appear on that release, which is usually the case if you have 20 different people all involved in one song. Let's say there was a song contest and they did a performance at the end or something like that. Anyway, 5 main artists, 5 featured artists. Main artist is the best, and the reason for that is every artist that is tagged as a main artist, the song will appear on their profile as the latest release. It will also go into release radar for each main artist for their followers, as long as they've submitted in Spotify for Artists at least 7 days prior. That means that you've got 5 different artists, 5 different fan bases, sets of followers where you're going to hit their release radars, which is already off to a great start for the song. Now, it also means that each main artist will potentially see that song in their Spotify for Artists, and you may get a few extra opportunities to submit to editorial. Don't quote me on that. Try it yourself first, because that could change at any time if it hasn't already. But main artist is key. One example of this that I've used in the past is Silk City, which is Diplo and Mark Ronson, and of course they did the track with Dua Lipa. So what you had on that track was, for the main artists, you had Silk City, you had Diplo, you had Mark Ronson, you had Dua Lipa, and it hit all of their followers because they were all main artists on that release. The difference with a featured artist is it won't actually show at the top of the profile if you're the featured artist. So let's say it was Diplo and Mark Ronson featuring Dua Lipa. What would happen is that song would not be at the top of Dua Lipa's profile on Spotify, and it would be down the bottom under appears on or featured on. Obviously, it's still going to show on the profile, but not up the top, not as the most recent release. So it's a little harder to find. Now, what people have found out recently is, let's say you featured on a song that gets 1 million unique monthly listeners. That's 1 million different people or individual people with their own Spotify account that have listened to the song at least once. That's 1 million unique monthly listeners on that song. If you're a featured artist, that doesn't count towards your monthly listeners. So if that's the only song you've been on, you have 0 monthly listeners. So what you want to do, wherever possible, as long as you can, you want to be a main artist so that you get your monthly listeners up as well. And obviously you get more opportunities for the song to be successful because it also goes to your followers. Now, if the song is already released, if you've got a back catalog of songs and you're a featured artist, I don't want to cause any drama here and say reach out to your distributor or your label or the people you've collaborated with and ask them to re-upload the song. That's going to cause a lot of headaches for everyone. What I would suggest is just be wary of this moving forward. If you're a vocalist, a lot of the time vocalists are singer-songwriters and they're putting in just as much work as the producer, but they get featured. And in the past, that's been the way that it's been done for a lot of vocalists. They feature. But now, knowing what we know about streaming and the way it works, my suggestion would be, if you're a singer-songwriter, you're collaborating with a producer, and you're going on the song, and you're going to be named on there anyway, just say, can I be a main artist? Of course, if they're unsure about that for some reason, just say, look, it means that my monthly listeners will go up as well. It also means that the song will be displayed on the top of my profile. It also will hit my release radar. It's just giving more opportunities for success on this song. Now, if you have any feedback or any more questions about this, you can get in touch with me, leave a comment down below. If you know an artist that may have been affected by this, perhaps they're featured on a song and they haven't seen a spike in monthly listeners, tag them, let them know. This is free information. I just want to help as many people as I can with this. I've only learnt this recently myself as well. And I have a history of songs where I've featured a vocalist or another producer as well. So by sharing this, I hope that I can help you to get your monthly listeners up. Remember, main artists.